Today I went to Washington University to help a doctorate student. They're doing some psychological studies and I got paid $30 for 2 hours of my time. And I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it. I was feeling really good and looking forward to it. You know, $30, woo-woo. But then all the crap that's been happening in the last 2 days around here, I thought, man, I don't know. What are they going to show me? And is it going to set off some kind of triggers or whatever? I don't know. They sat me down at a little computer and it would show me little film clips. They had a camera at my face, you know, so that it would record how I look and things that I do, or my facial expressions, my body, my emotions, or whatever. And they showed different pieces from different films and all. They showed a clip from When Harry Met Sally, the orgasm scene in the diner, that one. They showed a clip from Sophie's Choice. I'd never seen Sophie's Choice, but I figured out that's what movie it was, where this woman had to choose between her 2 children, and the Nazi said, you can choose one. And she says, what? He says, well, you're not Jewish, you're Polish. We'll let you choose one of your children. And she couldn't make a decision, so they took both of the kids. Steel Magnolias was a post-funeral scene. Sally Field's crying, and Olivia Dukakis brings up Shirley MacLaine's character Weezer and says, I know it'll make you feel better. Hit her in the face. You know, and that just struck me kind of funny. Pink Flamingos. Anyone familiar with John Waters movies? There's a scene where Ms. Devine is trying to prove that she's the most disgusting person on the world. And she goes up behind a little doggy that squats, takes a poopy from the doggy and puts it in her mouth and starts chewing on it and stuff. I've seen that before. I have the movie, actually, on VHS. Anyone want it? Robin Williams had a comedic bit also. And then after each one of those, they had a little questionnaire that you fill out on the computer. How does it make you feel? Did you feel sad, happy? How do you handle your emotions? Did you try to hide your emotions? That kind of stuff. And then they had, the girl came in with her little iPad and it would show me different pictures of stuff. And they had like a rabbit in a truck. One would be white and one would be brown. And then a little word would appear, shape or color. And if it had if you're supposed to look for shape, and they showed you the rabbit shape, but it was the color of the truck, you still had to choose you push the button where it said rabbit, because you had to choose the right shape. And then there was another test where you had to choose a color, no matter what the shape was. The colors had to match. Then they had one with 5 horizontal arrows. Some were all facing the same way, some were facing the other way, but the one right in the middle, the third one, you had to figure out which way that was facing, left or right, and you push a button left or right. And then they had words that were composed of different colors of the words. Doesn't mean like obesity was always red, I noticed. That word came up and it was always red. And they had little stickers they put on the keyboard, different letters, and if it was a red word, you'd press the red star. Then they had lists of what I call $5 words. Big words like capunctious or something, you know. And then she would have me not say these out loud because not everyone knows how to pronounce some of those highfalutin words. Excuse me. And then there was one with some different pictures, and the little tablet would say the word, and you had to choose which picture you thought that word meant. They had one, what was it? Egress. Egress. I think that means where you exit. And they had a kid exiting out of the door, and they had a white heron, an egret. and a bowl of soup. So you had to choose which picture matched a word. And there were some words I had never heard before. They were way past $5 words. And I just had to guess what they were by listening to maybe the root of the word or something. That was interesting. And then after all that was over, they had questionnaires, survey and questions. Like, how do you agree with this? Strongly disagree, mildly disagree, disagree, mildly disagree, neutral, mildly agree, agree, strongly agree, that kind of thing. And they'd ask you, like, I've been feeling sad, or when I have problems, I go to my friends, or I have lots of people I can call in an emergency, and they just wanted to know more about the person taking the test. Now those things kind of made me cry, because it really smacked me in the face with my reality. And I was actually crying, so whether they had the camera on me still or not, I don't know. Kind of hope they did. And on the way home, I stopped and got some already made pizza dough at Trader Joe's. I'll have that tomorrow. But tonight we're having burritos, the cat and I. And tomorrow morning I have an audition for Blithe Spirit. And I don't know. I think the only two characters that I am in the correct age for are Dr. Bradman's wife and Mrs. Madame Arcati, which is the wacko character. The soothsayer medium that has the seance. She's a bit peculiar. And people are telling me, that's the one you ought to try for. Well, that's the one I'm going to try for. And yes, British accents are required. But I've been practicing. They listed some, what they call them, sides. Little page or two of the characters. So I've been practicing. That's tomorrow. Want to hear some? Oh, God, no. Okay. Madame Arcati arrives on a bicycle. And she parks it and she says, I've leant my bike up against a little bush. It will be perfectly all right if no one touches it. I'm afraid I'm rather late, but I had a sudden presentiment that I was going to have a puncture, so I went back to fetch my pump. Then, of course, I didn't have a puncture at all. What do you think, hey, Chris? What do you think? Well, we'll find out tomorrow. I don't know what tonight brings. The furnace is still messed up. There's ways to test it without knowing a whole lot of knowledge on furnace, which I'll have to do when I'm feeling more with it, maybe tomorrow. Not at nighttime. My brain has been through a lot today. So, we'll find out later. Upward and onward.